we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
I'm Logan Camin, and this is Discussion Combustion. Let's fucking go, people, come on.
That might be the permanent intro right there.
That's the intro. We're drinking Christmas beers. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas, man. Hey, good to meet you, brother.
Good to meet you.
Thanks
Are
for
we
making
on?
the drive down. Yeah, we're live,
we're
brother.
on, man.
Oh, wow.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm so excited to be here, guys.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Discussion Combustion is so fucking cool.
Hell yeah,
We
man.
appreciate
So
that.
excited. Arthur, Kevin, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of work. You know, we've come a long way from cell phone recordings to being in a friend's basement. And it's
all been great
just
journeys, though,
natural progression, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And that's what you've done with your music. Because when we first met each other, that was like 8 years, somewhere in that range ago. And you've been staying steady on making music. So everybody knows, what kind of music is your forte?
So I make house music, tech house, and EDM music. And, I've been into this scene for quite some time. And during the pandemic, really it gave me an opportunity to get some good mentors, people who are really famous within the industry, who have been doing this for quite some time, who made it their living out of it. And they were offering help on production. And, I said, why the hell not? This is now the time. I was like, I'm not doing anything else. I'm pretty sure no one else is doing anything either.
Yeah.
In that pandemic. So I really put my time to use, and I was spending every night, every day, every waking hour that I had other than work on music. And I finally got my first record contract out of it, and it feels great. I'm working with a company out of England. They'll be called Vivifier.
Vivifier?
Vivifier, yep.
Okay.
And I'll give you guys, after the show, I'll give you all the links and everything for the downloads and everything, pre-saves. And then my release date will be next Friday for a 3-track EP.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'll be...
so this is the perfect time for you to be on here now.
Right, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So I was like, hey, it's like, why not give myself a little pat on the back and talk about it?
Hell yeah.
And,
dude, congrats to that, man. Because to
Cheers.
make it, to get signed, to hustle,
That's right.
Drink to that.
Cheers to that, man.
That's why I brought the Christmas sales. Christmas came early.
It did come early,
That's
man.
exciting, man. That's a grind right there for sure.
Yeah, it really, when I first started doing production, I didn't know what it was really going to take, or like the type of effort that it was going to be in. And one of my mentors, Dylan, Nathaniel, he pretty much just told me I was shit for the first leg of it. He goes, I can tell you're not putting enough time and effort into it, because if you were, this would be sounding a lot better. And he was a little bit nicer than that, of course, but that kind of got me. I don't really like being told when I'm not working hard enough, so I decided to work harder and harder and harder, and then I got addicted to it. Making music has taught me a lot about myself, but also taught me a lot about, the power of your own self, telling you what you can and can't do. And if you really want to put your mind to something and you're willing to put in that effort into it, I honestly think that anyone can do something they want to do. Just, you really have to go after it.
Yeah.
And it's not for everyone, though. I'm telling you, because my wife would come in, I had my headphones on, I had things bumping in there, doing on an 8-bar loop, and I'm just like working on this 8-bar loop, and she goes, I've been calling you for 4 hours. Where the hell are you? And I was just like, I'm doing music. She goes, again? And I'm like, yes, I'm doing music again. I do it every day. I was like, I really don't want you to come in and bother me right now. But, bother away. We're married now, so... that was my fault.
You've been having a big year, man. Getting married. I know your job, your day job, you've seen a lot of success with that, seen some growth.
Yeah.
So you just got this momentum. So I liked what you were kind of talking about how, you kind of were going through this area of a stale moment in time, right? Like we all had to stay at home, and you're trying to figure out what to do with it, right? So, what kind of, because you talked about opportunities from that. I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, you would do some live streaming mixes and stuff and hold it down and have the lights up. And
I was so bored, I remember when they were telling everyone that the liquor stores were closing down and all the pot stores were closing down. So what the hell did I do? I bought the whole fucking liquor store, bought all the pot, I bought everything. So I had all this alcohol and everything in my house. But then they didn't close down the liquor stores or pot stores or anything like that. So I had all this booze in my house. I was like, well, I guess I don't have to go anywhere anymore for a good long time, and we really couldn't go anywhere. So
Yeah.
I ended up just doing I started doing my own live streams on every Friday. I'll call it TGIF, and I would just live stream and party and play music for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and that would be my Friday. And I mean, for a whole year, we didn't have anything else to do. So it was a good time. And that's kind of when I started wanting more, because it was like, it's cool when you're DJing, but I thought it would be a lot cooler if I was playing my own music in my own sets. And I just didn't really find a lot of, I stopped doing a lot of the live streams because I was like, I started wondering, I was like, I can't just probably be a DJ and just play other people's music.
When it's
How
saturated,
how can I
right?
make my own name for myself if I can't have my own staple on things?
Yeah.
And and then I really started getting into the production. I stopped doing the streaming because I was like, I really just want to focus on my sound and try to get my own songs down. And yeah, I mean, now it took me a while, but I'm really starting to get the hang of it. I'm getting in a groove, and it's just, now that I'm addicted to it, it's just like I got to keep moving. I got to keep going forward, and I got to keep learning every single day and doing the best I can. And the live streams will come back. More music will be getting out there. And, getting this record contract was the first step to doing that. Is like, hey, like, now it's time for you to start going further, start taking another step further, start doing more for yourself, and start having some more fun. And, really start getting booked on actual shows and do some better things for myself that I wasn't doing before. So I'm pretty excited about it.
That is super exciting, man.
Yeah, it's exciting. That's cool, man, to hear that journey. Because I dabble with music for a bit, played in the Ridge Runners for a few years. That's, Arthur and I kind of share the music creativity side coming into the podcast. So to be able to see your work starting to pay dividends, getting signed, seeing the momentum, playing those Friday shows during the pandemic, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And because those shows were a lot of fun. That brought the entertainment that we all desperately needed and craved during that time.
Right, exactly. And one thing I will say, just real quick compliment to you guys. Couple handsome blokes like yourself saving someone's basement and having your own office now, moving on up, Discussion Combustion on its way up. That's really good to see too. So we all got some momentum going on, right?
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
You can't have those faces sitting down in someone's basement. We need it out in the crowd. We need it out.
Yeah,
that's right, man.
I love that.
I mean, fucking Jamie was the shit, and that was our boy that let us.
So great.
Like, it wouldn't be where it's at if it wasn't for him.
Sure.
So, like, thank you, Jamie. As always, you always know. Thank
Crown
you.
Royal Field, he was.
But yeah, man, like it is like there's always more to do, and if you actually have passion for something,
right,
then you need to recognize that. And I think it's important for everybody to take those moments out of the day to try to recognize what makes themselves happy or what makes themselves feel good, because there's too many external things hitting us constantly where it's easy to get distracted, it's easy to forget like what we're actually about. And so, props to you for going hard there and sticking to it and doing something that was going to be different. And now that you're seeing traction from it, like, that's building this whole new momentum and energy. And it's just really exciting to, like, because I was hearing your stuff in the very beginning, and then I heard some of your newer things, and the layers have gotten more complex but are simplified. So it's like it's not more noise. But there's
better
more
sounds.
Yeah.
So I mean, one of the bigger things that as I was on my journey, I kept getting from all my mentors: pick better sounds. You got to pick better sounds. You got to pick better quality sounds. You got to start doing better for yourself, on understanding what better sounds will sound like. And so,
Bless you.
Thank you. So we had to pick better sounds, and just understanding how those sounds work, how everything works in a frequency, especially on a wavelength. It's like, okay, so, the way I was put to it is, think about it as an orchestra. Everyone has their own sounds. Everyone has their own places. Everyone has to be put in a certain area to sound right. And when your sounds are like on top of each other, like just like pancaking on top of each other, like, it's just going to sound muddy. It's not going to sound where it needs to be. And then I started understanding how to move stuff on the spectrum, sonic, like around the spectrum. So it's like you got your bass, you got your trebles, you got your hi-hats, you got your drums, you got your claps, you got everything from your synths to effects, vocals, everything.
There's
you're
so
moving
many
stuff
things
around. and then you're like cutting off certain frequencies. Like you don't want it to interrupt with the bass and the kick, so you want to move it over here. Then you want to compress things together and make them sound comfortable with one another. And you want them all to be friends.
Yeah.
I want everyone to hold their hands and say, "Oh wow, like we're friends here. We can make this work." We don't need to segregate everything. So it's like I said, the journey of understanding that, it took me forever. Like I was spending hours looking at frequencies, and to be honest with you, at first I was like, I don't get it. Like, I think it sounds okay. And then, like, the more you listen to what you're putting out there, the more you keep listening to the tracks and other people's tracks and using reference tracks, you're like, this really sounds like shit. I really need to fix this right now. And, I started understanding about when you put, like, a master channel on and how to get your sound up elevated.
Yeah.
So that it's...
At the end, though, right?
Yeah, at the end, of course. So once I do all my breakdowns and figure out how I do all my mixing and then I can put a master EQ on everything and then elevate and turn that up a little bit to make sure that it can be played out loud just like all the other songs out there. It's not like a mastered engineer, but it's good enough to get out there. And it's just wild, man. Like you really have to understand what you're doing in there, and you can't just start going in there, and you have to have someone helping you. Like, if you don't have someone showing you how to do some of that stuff, like I don't learn well from like YouTube videos. I didn't learn well, like, cause I had someone actually go on a Zoom info with me, and he would take over my screen and actually show me what he's talking about, and work with me every single week. And I was paying him every single week. So I was like, yeah, I mean, these guys aren't touring right now, and if you can get all that knowledge and really take advantage of it at that current time, like use it, because if you can't get a good mentor helping you, just like in anything in life, like a mentor helps you substantially get to that next level. They're not going to be there for you forever. They don't want to be there for you forever, but they are going to help you get to that next level, and then they're going to pat you on the back and say, you're ready. And then you find another mentor, someone else who can help you, someone else on another level. And, luckily the people I chose were really, really good. And just put me to another level of understanding what needs to happen in music to make things work better. And I just didn't know any of that. Like I just thought, because I used to play guitar and sing, and I used to be really emo, and I used to like want to sing to girls, and it was really cool. Like playing acoustic guitar, it's like, oh cool, like you think you're a sexy son of a bitch. And because in college you're playing acoustic guitar and singing, you're not playing because you love it, and of course you do a little bit, but like back in the day I was doing it to like pick up girls. Now I just do it because I love it. And it was like, that was what I was doing. But now it's like, yeah, that was your college days, but now you really found your passion for it, and you really understand that this is what makes you happy. It's not for everyone else. Like, music is for you. It's for my happiness. And that's what really set me off. And doing EDM and house music, it just speaks to me a little bit more. Okay. And acoustic music back in the day in college and stuff, like, that was great. But, it was like, I didn't want to be on stage singing, crying myself some lullabies to sleep, and like, trying to romance women that way. I was like, that's just not who I was going to be. Yeah. And, I kind of got into it for the wrong reasons, but I'm sure we've all been there where we had to figure out something that we were good at to get ourselves something back in the day, but now we're just moving forward.
Couldn't be better said, honestly, especially when it comes to playing music and acoustic guitar, because I can relate to that. Are we doing it for a status quo, or are we doing it because we love it? And to find that passion behind it, and like that sense of fulfillment and joy that you get when you create a beat or something that you're getting that expression out, that's what I love about music, man. Yeah. That art behind it. I feel the same with the podcasting, and it's cool to find those things.
Yeah, it's a level of maturity that comes along with the musical side. Like, you're not just in it for the fame and all that stuff. Once you figure out that you really just do love it, that's when you start putting more effort into it, and you start making really good music.
Well, and there's that, and I've talked about this aha moment a bunch of times on the pod, but I haven't had this specific conversation with you before. But when you're like constructing an instrumental and you're putting it together, you have to start somewhere. So it starts with like one noise, right? And that's what you got, and then you start slowly building on it. And then you kind of like have that moment where you feel like, oh, okay, I know where this is going. And then you kind of have it and then you find it, and then you put it in there and play it back. And then like everything hits and everything has room for everything. Right. And there's that moment of where it's just like, damn, I just put that together. And that feels so good, that little moment right there. But one thing about music that I wanted to ask you about, because you're heavy in creation of music right now, is obviously lyrics are lyrics, and lyrics can be interpreted anyway. But instrumentals, music compilations, there's emotion within melody, and there's emotion within songs. So I wonder, because you're primarily doing house techno, is there, like, when you start on a project, is there like a certain emotion that you're thinking you want to evoke by creating the song, and then you try to feed that emotion into what you're doing?
I think I know exactly what you're saying, because you can have like darker melodies, you can have uplifting melodies, more things that are just more like upbeat. I think, where I go with is I mess around a lot with a lot of noises. So I always have a basic template set up so I can just write faster. So I have my kick drum, I got my hats, I got my claps, I got my just like a basic pattern going, and then I can build off that once I start picking out the sounds. Like I can layer my kicks a little bit, my hats and claps, and then I just start writing. I write like 6 or 7 bass lines, maybe 8 bass lines, and I just kind of like take things step by step, and I say which one sounds better, which one sounds greater, and then maybe it's just a different sound that goes better with that bass line. And then I just kind of mess around, and I keep messing around, and then something will click in me where I think, all right, that's the one. And then whether it's a positive melody or a darker melody, I think it's just whatever sounds best to me at that moment, where I want to keep, when I give myself options to figure out what am I feeling right now, what am I feeling out of all of these, and then really I kind of let the music kind of take control over where it's going. Like wherever I'm writing stuff, how I'm doing things, if I hear something that I really like, then I'm just going to go with it. I don't think about writing something darker or positive, because then I don't think I'll ever get anything done. Because the more I think,
then you're too focused on, you're not letting your mind freely take on the project.
Right, and if I just let things flow freely, unless like I use like a vocal first. So I think that's one of the biggest things that has helped me, is using maybe a vocal first and finding a vocal melody right away, and then building a whole entire song around that vocal.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, like it's like one of those things.
I'm not going to use your vocals. But
no, I'm not a good singer. I can rap, but I've never been good at singing. I would need to practice that.
Yeah, so it's like if we use if I use a good vocal, and if it's like a darker one, something, if I can use like something darker, then I'll write maybe a darker melody around it, or a darker bass line around it to help carry that out a little bit more. I think that helps out, but I'm just free flowing, just making ideas, or I listen to a ton of music and I said, I kind of want to do something similar to this. I can try to like take some key notes, or take that scale, like it's a minor G minor or an A minor, and I can write in that scale or do something like that. That can also help. The more free flowing that you're able to do stuff, the more you're able to just open your mind to new things, and not just make sure like you're just putting yourself and limiting yourself to one certain thought. Then I think you have more ability to create more and have a better understanding of where we're going to go with it. I just don't like limiting myself to a very lot of anything. It's like if you can just let things ride and let things flow freely, then I think you get better sounds. You start thinking differently, start thinking creatively. You listen to a bunch of different reference tracks to give you different ideas on what you want to do with certain areas once you get everything sounding a little bit different. And then, you can really mold things the way you want it. And that's what I love about working in Ableton and the DAW that I'm using, and just, getting all the songs down. And that's what I like about house music and EDM in general, is that, it creates an emotion. It creates, it's a different type of feeling. It's more energetic. There's more things going on. If you have ADHD like me, like, holy cow, you can really there's a lot of things going on that really catches my attention. I just love it, and I can just stay doing it for hours, and I don't have to feel like I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
Well, you hit on something good there too, and that's keeping the mind open with creativity. Because for me as a guitar player, I always got stuck in a rut, and I would hit like the same 3 chords in the same E tuning, right? C, D, G, whatever, something along those lines. And I would get stuck in trying to write songs in that same kind of melody, that same kind of progression. It was tough to get out of that. Yeah. And it took playing with other musicians for me to learn that.
Yeah. And when you get stuck in a rut, you can always get yourself out. The only person that's putting you in there is yourself.
That's very true.
That's true.
That's true. It's easy to get complacent. You're like, oh, well, this works. This is what I'm familiar with. I don't want to learn anything else.
Yeah. And if it's not working, just move on. Just, no one's saying that you got to make something work. Sometimes it's best just to put it down and move forward, try doing something else, and then come back to it like a week later and be like, oh, now I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes you need that break, because when you're looking through the microscope too long, you forget about every other part of what's going on around what you're looking at. So awesome stuff about, the energy behind the music, how it's created. What are your long-term goals? Like, what do you want to accomplish? What's your stage name? Is it Moves Like Logan? Like, what is?
That's my Instagram name, so follow me on Moves Like Logan if you guys are interested.
Yeah, everybody check that out.
It's really anything special yet, but my stage name will be just my first and last name, Logan Camin.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's classic.
It's
That's
just
cool.
gonna be really relatable, very easy to listen to. I'm not trying to. I was like thinking about like all sorts of different names. Like when I first started DJing, I went by this name Upgrade. I got it from the movie Idiocracy from the Pimp Upgrade, and he has with 2 Ds for a double dose of his pimping, and so I used 3 Ds for a triple dose of my pimping.
Okay.
And then but that wasn't gonna last too long.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're not an Upgrade. You just like the name because it's funny. So then I started thinking about other things that I could be, and then Moves Like Logan was my Instagram name, and everyone's just calling me Logan. And I was like, Logan's just an interesting enough name.
You're dancing around and stuff too, like.
Yeah, I'll be
you
moving
were.
a little bit. I was moving quite a bit.
Yeah.
But Moves Like Logan's a great Instagram name, but I think Logan Camin, my first and last name.
Yeah. You
I think
already
that's
own
fine.
it. So.
Yeah, I own it.
Yeah.
at least I think I do. I mean, who knows with this government?
For sure.
So,
For sure.
As we progress, I mean, I think Logan Camin's fine for right now. I've got someone helping me with my logo, getting things moving, and I mean, it's really fun, and the whole process is going well. I mean, as far as goals go, my first and only goal with this process was just to have fun and do something that I've been wanting to do since I've been a little kid, and just start producing some songs. And I really love the enjoyment and fulfillment of making people feel good about themselves, being in the moment, moving around. Music wasn't anything. Music isn't just for one person; it's for everyone.
Yeah.
I really love the feeling that it gives people. I love seeing people dancing around and having a good time because of the music I'm playing. If I'm DJing, for the music I'm producing, that's just the best feeling in the world. So that's just one of my goals. As far as everything
you'd like
else,
to get out there doing sets and
yeah, I would love to get out there, do sets. I'd love to play more shows. I'd love to get out and do more DJ sets, play shows, be in front of people, and I mean that would be incredible. As I said, like I've been taking meditation and mindfulness classes as well, and I think one of the best things that I've learned about that was, even if that doesn't come to reality, you're not changing who you are. You're still the same person. That doesn't define you if you're playing shows or not, but the feeling that it gives you when you are producing and just having fun, that's the feeling that you originally wanted, right? I was like, yeah, so that's how I feel. So it feels great. And I'm going to continue with that feeling. And if it doesn't make it, I have a good job as is right now. So it's not really a win-win or a win. I mean, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So it's not a win-lose situation. Like, oh, it didn't work here, so you're stuck with this. Like, I like what I do outside of that, and I don't mind doing one way or another, but it would be really awesome if it did happen. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it if it doesn't work, because all I can do is my best.
For sure.
And if you can't do your best and you can't have fun with it, then yeah, I mean, it sucks.
I can feel the energy and grind coming off you, man.
So this EP is getting ready to drop.
Yeah.
It's coming out within the next 10 to 15 days, you said.
Yeah, it's coming out next Friday. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, Beatport. So once this is all done, I'll send you guys some links, and we can put it on your discussion combustion links, and we can send it out to people and whoever's listening. I hope you guys enjoy it, and there'll be more songs coming if you don't enjoy this one, and hopefully you do. There'll be other songs out there that I'll be producing, then maybe you'll enjoy those. But just to have everyone's support would be really incredible.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
man.
we'll put all that in the show notes for sure. Once it drops,
Sure.
we'll go back and log it in for sure. And so what does that look like? So once this drops, are you working with like event promoters and getting, some shows dialed in? When are you going to take this thing to, the people?
That's the next level. I'm going to start sending it out. I already got some friends like sending me promoters' names and everything. And, Denver is one of the best places for music in the country. There's a lot of really, really good and talented musicians out here, DJs. As I see, we got some of the best, event centers, Red Rocks, Mission Ballroom, Bar Standard, Vinyl, all these really cool ass bars, man, venues. It's just, we got so many awesome things happening out here, and it's just such an honor to even be a part of it, to see exactly what's going on. There's music shows going on every single day of the week.
Yeah.
And, before I got married, I was going to music every single day, and I was like, all right, you know, it'd be cool to, you know, have a nice glass of wine with your wife maybe on a Tuesday, not go out to and having beers with your friends till like 1 a.m. and then waking up at 6 a.m. for work.
Too true, man.
Yeah, so
You know,
true.
I was
We've
like,
gotten in trouble like that with this little project a couple times too.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
like,
easy to do.
Yeah, pick one day, maybe one day every 2 weeks or so, where, you know, my wife's cool as hell. She's just like, I want you to have fun. I want you to do what you want to do. Just, you know, just don't do it every single night. And I'm like, great, not a problem. I was like, I don't want to do it every single night. I don't think that's healthy for me. But, you know, just being in Denver, I mean, I grew up in Cleveland, and you know, there just was not stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, and you know, I love Cleveland to death. Cleveland sports fan to the day I die. But as we continue down that road, it's like, yeah, I mean, I moved out of there for a reason, because right when the recession hit in 2005 or right around there, like people were offering me door-to-door sales jobs, and I didn't know what else was out there, and like I haven't really lived anywhere else, and I moved to Oregon. And Oregon was cool. Then I moved to Denver, and I was like, man, this spot is off the hook. Music all the time, cool-ass bars, good people, you know, mountains, snowboarding, skiing, job opportunities. Great place to be.
The
Great
energy,
venues.
the energy is right for sure. So one thing that I'm going to kind of pick out, like what you're talking about, is you said that you have been doing more mindful training, like, you know, trying to train your mind. Notice the things that you do like, and I just kind of want to talk about that because I think it's so important. I read this book a long time ago, and that influenced like affirmations and ways of thinking for myself, and I'm rereading it now. And so it basically just wants to cover, like, you know, how your mind works, how you can use your mind to help yourself. And I think everybody should know how to use that tool because it's so powerful. But one thing that was really interesting, and I want to kind of get y'all's thoughts on it, is they were saying like that it's a holographic universe that we live in. And so everything is a part of everything. Because in a holograph, every part of the holograph is every piece of the holograph. So like if you had like a big ass piece of glass that was a holograph, and you could walk around and it would change. If you broke it, you'd think you'd see little pieces of that image, but it's really the whole image in every single piece. And so how I think that relates to us and how we think and go through reality is that we have our conscious mind and we have our unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind is what's kind of connected to everything. That's like what gives us the answer for everything. And so like following your intuition and, you know, just being aware that all the answers are there, as long as you're looking for it. And it's just like this whole different mentality shift to kind of look at life in that kind of frame of mind. Because then you start looking at things differently. You start looking at opportunities differently and meeting people differently. And I don't know, I think that's interesting. And I'm kind of curious, like what were some of the things maybe you found out that were some of your big aha moments when talking to these people?
I think one of the big aha moments to me was going back to your childhood, understanding some of the things that molded you and taught you some of the things to survive back in the day aren't necessarily true in your life today. But like, for instance, like if I'm running around today and like, you know, for a long time there, like I would get afraid of like telling my wife, like, oh, she's like, what time are you gonna be home? I'm like, oh, I'll try to be home by like 8 o'clock, but I'm home by like 10:30. She gets mad at me. It felt like my mom was getting mad at me, you know. And once I understood that you're not with, you know, you can't get in trouble anymore from anyone but yourself. Like you can't. She's not gonna ground you. These people aren't gonna put you in those bad situations. You know, or your mom's not, you know, this is not the same situation, and you have that mental aptitude in your head. You have to deconstruct that process of that feeling of, oh, if I do this, I will get in trouble. If I do this, I will get in trouble. If I do that, I will get in trouble. Or, you know, or if, for instance, like if you ate ice cream for breakfast and you always said it was wrong, you know, it's not wrong. There's nothing wrong about it, but you were told it's wrong. So that's what you thought.
Conditioning, yeah.
So that's that process where you got to deconstruct it, break it down, and get rid of it. really the whole thing that's happening to me now is understanding that I'm in control over everything that I want to be in control over, except what happens to me outside of my own self. I can't control you. I can't control Kevin. I can't control anybody's thoughts or feelings. So what you can control is your attitude, your effort. You can't control your feelings, to be honest, because whatever you feel is how you're going to feel. And then once you clear your mind and let those feelings sink in, then you can begin the healing process to allow yourself to heal yourself in a better way that makes more sense to what you're doing and how you're going to pursue your life moving forward. So, as I understood to break down those objections that I had in my life where, your mom would get you in trouble, or my dad passed when I was 10, really like, who am I mad at? Why am I still mad? Why do I feel like I don't have some of these answers? And really, I've been giving myself the answers the whole time. I'm the only person that's going to, my dad's not going to be here to give me a hug. You're going to have to give your inner child a hug, and you're going to have to allow him to heal himself and tell him it's going to be okay. And you're going to have to talk to yourself. You're going to have to heal and listen and allow those feelings to reside and work through those feelings to allow that healing to take place. And until you can come to terms with that and let those feelings really settle in and feel those things again. I mean, it took some crying. It took some hard looks on the inside to understand that I'm going deep into my old past, my feelings, and allowing those old feelings to come out again. That's how you can heal yourself and to move forward into a different area of light where you're going to move forward. And then once I started getting that healing down, I started to understand more about what I wanted and where I wanted to go, and why am I not worried about what other people think of me anymore? Because really, all of that doesn't make any sense. No one's going to tell. I mean, if you have an opinion of me right now, saying, that guy is a complete douchebag, or, he's not really good looking, which isn't true. And it's
dude, you're looking chiseled. You've been working out. I mean, when Logan walked in here, and you have a great point. I don't mean to cut it short, but I gave him one of the, like, hey, man's on his shoulder, and this dude was rock solid.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They call me Rock Steady back in the day. But we don't have to talk about that here. But yeah, I mean, it's, but as we go forward, just allowing yourself to heal and forgiving yourself, forgiving others. Don't take anything personally. Don't allow others, don't be truthful to yourself and be honest with your word. Don't sugarcoat stuff for people just because you think it's going to hurt their feelings. Like, obviously you don't have to be a dick, but just be honest with yourself. Don't allow yourself to settle for less. If that's what you want to go after it, but don't also hate on yourself and be mean to yourself and negative to yourself. Pat yourself on the back and say, did you give it your best? If you're giving your best at all times, no one's going to tell you that you can't be mad at yourself, and be honest with yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've done this whole pandemic, and why I like being here with you guys, is that I'm giving it my best. I'm not holding anything back anymore, and I'm not afraid, of failure. It's like, if you fail, fuck it.
That's how you're going to succeed.
It's just not, who cares? Who's going to make fun of you? You're the only person that's making fun of you that bad right away when you fail is you. No one's going to get in your grill and say that you're not doing your best, you're not getting it. Because I guarantee if you are doing your best and it's something that you want to be doing, you're going to do well. You're going to do okay. I don't know anybody that I've met that hasn't, when they're passionate about something and they want to go forward with it, it works out. Like Discussion Combustion. You guys really loved it. You're moving forward with it. This is what you wanted to do, and now you're here. Started from the bottom. Now we're here, baby. For sure. That's how it works. It's true. This is cool in here. It's my first podcast, and I love it. I'm enjoying myself.
Hell yeah, man! I'm glad you are.
You're a good guest because you got a lot. You got a lot to say.
Makes our jobs a little bit easier when the guest can take the mic. But you spoke on so many things there that carry so much weight that I love to hear about. Just being real, finding out what you want by finding out what you don't want. That's you kind of touched on a little bit, and I think that's some people say that comes with age. Wait till you get older. You hear that whole thing, but it's like, man, until you're in the trenches taking grenades, you got to experience it. Right. To figure out what the fuck you want.
One, to face the things that are the things that you're afraid to face, because you openly just talked about your father passing when you were 10, and I can only imagine. You know, how that could affect you over life. And you just talked about it so casually, like, you know, this is what I'm dealt with. This is normal for me, and that's okay.
Right.
And I feel like where you had to go was it's a place of acceptance. Like, first you have to accept your circumstances.
Right.
Like, you can't be blaming other people. You can't, like, taking things personally. You can't blame other people for your problems.
Right.
You have to accept it. But then also you have to kind of have this neutrality with it where it's like, well, what do I want to gain from this? Like, you got to be at a neutral level now where it's like, this is hurting me. I feel like I missed out on this, or blah,
Right.
blah, blah. Like, it's like, no, I've accepted this, and where can I grow from being neutral with this?
Right.
And that's not an easy task to do. Like I've talked a lot about overcoming opiates on this podcast, and I know I haven't talked too much to you about that. But, I mean, that was a struggle, and it's like a lot of the hardest things are things that we don't want to do. I mean, I got out of a relationship that was kind of toxic for me recently, and that was not an easy decision to make. And it's just like where I'm at now isn't necessarily where I want to be, but I know I'm doing the right things to put myself in a better position in the future.
Right.
You know, and it's not easy to make those hard decisions or look at yourself in the mirror and look at your biggest downfalls and become acquainted with that. Like, we try to ignore that shit.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks when you blame yourself or you think that you're just not good enough for certain things. That's not you. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the times that in your life where you get dealt those tough hands, you were telling yourself that you might not be good enough, or, you know, there were times in your life where, you know, you weren't good in school and you didn't learn like anyone else, or, you know, you just had to figure out a way to teach yourself how to be good at something that you are good at. It doesn't mean that you aren't good enough. Nothing really means that. But really, the only person that's telling that you aren't good enough is that you've made yourself believe that. And that's how, you know, like, I'm not good enough to get off these opiates. I'm not good enough. You know, I can't do it. I need these things. I need this. I need that. No, that's not. It's bullshit. Everybody knows that it's bullshit. Now, it's hard. It's hard to convince yourself that you don't need it. But once you start that healing process of figuring out where I want to go, why do I want to do it, but also where am I trying to heal myself and my past pain? How do I heal myself first and foremost from that pain? How do I heal myself from the misguided belief system that I taught myself earlier on in my life? And there's nothing wrong with that belief system when you were on them or when you were doing. Those are the things that you thought were protecting you. Those are the things at that time that were getting you through those hard times in your life where you thought, okay, cool, maybe I'm going to move forward a little bit. Maybe I'm going to do something different now. Or, you know, but those things protected you back in the day. Those things were there to protect you. Those were in your place to help you because you felt safe with those things. And now as we're getting not older, but as we continue in life, we start finding different parts of ourselves to say, hey, I don't think I need those things anymore. Like I was on Adderall for a while because I was prescribed to because I have bad ADHD. Once I started understanding that I don't need it, I could reward myself with other things to give myself more motivation in the morning, just have a cup of coffee. I figured out a way to rechannel my thought process and my feelings and my energy levels to start getting up a little bit earlier, working out, taking care of my body a little bit better, but also rewarding myself as the day goes on. Like, all right, if you do 2 hours of work, I'll give you 30 minutes on the music stuff. Like you just go and do 30 minutes of the music, let yourself go and have at it, but you can't do the music until you do 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
So I throw in a reward system that works, that gives me more energy. And every time I would look forward, it would, like, the time would pass. I would have more energy, I would feel more energetic, and I found something that I love to do. But, you know, I'd also have a cup of coffee in the morning, and I meditated in the morning to help clear my mind and thought process, and it gave me energy to do breath work, to understand how to breathe, how to channel that negativity, but also, you know, finding ways to go put yourself to sleep at night a little bit easier. And I had like...
So you're in one of those overthinkers, because I know, Kevin, you stay up and think in bed.
Right.
I stay up and think in bed. It takes me at least like 40 minutes to fall asleep.
So what helped me was meditation at night to help. I just focus on my breath, and I would take like 4 or 5 minutes, and I would focus on my breath, and I would breathe in and out, and then I would just let myself dissipate into nothingness where it was just my feelings and I was there in my true self. And I would kind of go into transcendental meditation where I would transcend into I mean, it was just weird shit.
Well,
Like,
no, because people don't
would,
like this. That kind of meditation is hard to reach.
Yeah, it's
and a lot of
hard.
people. So is that like where you can like leave
Yeah,
yourself?
so it's
and
kind of
see
like
yourself?
you leave yourself, but like you're not leaving. You see
Yeah.
yourself. You're there, but like
You can control, like,
don't-
this energy
It's
flying
like
around
almost like you're
almost.
asleep, but you're not quite asleep. You're
Yeah.
just there. You're playing just the tip. You're playing, and that's always a good game. It's always fun.
I've never won that game.
Yeah, well, it's not always about winning or losing in that game. It's just, hey, it's just fun. So we had a little fun. We're playing just the tip, and just the tip of that, where you're just barely sleeping, but you're not, but you're there in a weird reality, and you're allowing yourself to just focus on those feelings, and you take those breaths. And I would have like weird thoughts about like, oh, what happens when you die? All sorts of weird shit, They're just all those weird thoughts, and that's happens.
What do you think happens when we pass?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like what Keanu Reeves said, where he said, the people that will love us will miss us. I do like what he said there.
He said it so
But-
simply and
yeah.
profound. Like,
But I think honestly, I think I love that movie Avatar for the reason that everything's connected, and we're all made from the same stardust particles. We're all
Yes.
made from the same things. So in my gut, I think there is something, but what we don't know is what we don't know. But it's that feeling inside of you that really makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel that there is something, then that's something I'm going to hold on to. I'm not going to call it Jesus Christ or Buddha or whatever the hell it is. I'm not going to allow people to. I don't think religion is. I don't think that's a real thing. I don't think that's a real thing. I think there's a spirituality and there's a higher power out there. But whatever that might be, it's beyond any of our recognition and ability. And that's why meditation is so important, because it allows you to come to cope with just leaving your thought and focus on that feeling, and that feeling holds true. And when you know that we're all from the same particles, we're all from the same things, we all help give each other life. Our interactions are more higher powered than anybody other creature on this earth, where we're able to think differently. We're able to actually have self-awareness, have meditation, to have this area in this room. It's a higher power in itself. So there's something.
Yeah.
If you look at the way we've developed and the fact that our ability as creatures of this planet aren't using the full potential of utilizing everyone on this planet to be one big society to help one another, it's fucking nuts.
There's too much.
We can do so much cool ass shit,
Yeah.
and we don't do fucking anything. Like, we could have flying cars by now, but you know what we got?
Selfish
we got
billionaires.
weird things. We got people flying into. We got Bezos flying into space. That's like, no one wants to see you fly into fucking space, dude. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, good for you, but why don't you do something like, let's connect people. Like, let's do something. Let's do something sweet. Like, let's figure this out. Let's try to help everyone. Let's do something that's gonna make everyone feel wanted. Have a utopian society that's peaceful and loving and caring, but not. I don't want to. I don't care about like war. I don't care about what we're doing, but like a lot of these things, like, what happens in Afghanistan and all this other stuff, sure, it's terrible, but like there has to be a better way than just trying to figure out how to fuck people up with bombs. Like, I think we're better. We have more power to do better. So let's do better. And like, that's why I love music so much too, because that's the one universal thing that gives peace in every country, every culture, every person has some type of musical prowess that has taught them songs or little things in their head where they sing or tap their feet to it. It gives them that little piece of joy in their mind. It gives them a sense of calm and steadiness. And that's what I love about music. And that's where, it's the cool part about it, and that's where we're going. It's like that meditation, everything, it's all connected, but how do you want to see your footprint in that connection is huge, but where are we going to go with it?
For sure. You talked about a lot of things there. I'm going to just kind of echo on, what I was talking about earlier with the holographic universe and the subconscious mind.
Yeah,
because
I keep thinking of a hologram.
Well, it's
like a...
Yeah, it's kind of a hologram. I don't know if every image... So the whole reason why they use that analogy is because with the subconscious that we have, all of us, through intuition, can basically pick up on everything. Like the whole thing is that like it's like a database, a subconscious database that we're all... Yeah, you can grab one. that we're all connected in and all connected through, and every single thing is I got backstacks, but like everything is in this universe, and we all have access to all of it, right? So that's a huge thought to encompass, like that all of us have access to all the information, you know, but but
It's a blessing and a curse.
yeah, but like through the meditation, through the stuff you're talking about, you let down the conscious thought stream, because the conscious wants to think and it wants to think through.
Sure.
But once you start meditating, like you almost lower the floodgates, and the subconscious comes into play, and that's where a lot of interesting things happen. I mean, you know, a lot of this stuff is food for thought, and it's nothing without practice. We could know this information, but if we don't practice it and try to keep our minds open, because basically what I'm saying is there's all this bad things in the world, and we can focus on those bad things, but there's also all these great energies in the world too. Like you covered some of the bad things, but then you finished with, you know, music is a universal language, and that is the light. So it's like you're mentioning the darkness, you're aware of it, but you're choosing to focus on the light. And I think everybody has that choice of where they want to focus and where the light comes in. And I feel like it could happen.
I think a lot of people play into fears, though. And I think that's where a lot of people, you know, a lot of the insecurities come out. You know, like, you know, I think there's a lot of leaders out there that will play into people's fears. And when people feel afraid of something, they don't understand something, you know, that's the direction they'll go. And that's, unfortunately, that's just where people start thinking in the dark, because they're afraid of what's different. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of something that they don't understand. And when you don't understand something, what's the best way to do it? You kill it. You get rid of it. You try to figure out a different way that is combative. It's, you know, or if you have an open mind, you know, as something's different, maybe you're more open to something where you're able to help with that process, or say, you know, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to hurt me. I'm not afraid of it. But, you know, what sometimes people are, and, you know, it just happens. You know, I think the best way to handle difference is accept it and embrace it. You know, we don't have to accept all differences, but if we can just acknowledge that it is there, or even have some type of an understanding of different people, different genres, different races, everything, you know, I mean, the whole thing with John Gruden that just came out, where he was discussing about racism, and, you know, he was using all the homophobic terms, racist terms, and it's like this guy clearly says he's not racist, but his words and everything were very different, and he didn't understand why that the gay guy got drafted and in the NFL, and it was like, it wasn't based off of his sexual prowess, it was based off of his skill, his ability. He was sweet at Missouri. Yeah. And it was just like John Gruden didn't understand it, and he thought it was based off of he was gay. And I was like, you know what, John Gruden, this is exactly the big problem that we have nowadays, is that you are the problem. Like, you're not understanding clearly about how to open your mind up. Who cares if he's gay? Why do you have to say it? What is it doing to you? Does it affect your job? But why does he have to be the one emailing it and saying, why are we drafting?
Focusing so much
I think he says direct words were, why are we drafting queers? It's like, dude, shut up, man. Like, who cares? If the guy can play football, the guy can play football. And he's good at football. Who cares what he's doing outside of that? Yeah. And I think that was a huge concept that is the difference. He was so afraid of what was different and what was changing to what was around him when he was growing up that he didn't want to accept that. And he was afraid of it. And that's a perfect example of when you don't understand something, you try to kill it, you try to combat it, and you try to get rid of it, because he was afraid of it. And the same with the guy, he was in the, who was the, what was he, the president of the Players Association at the time? Or whatever, I forget what it was, but he used the term like rubber lips or something like that, or just something awful. And it's like, just because he couldn't get his way or something stupid, it's just like, shut up, dude. Like, no one cares. Like, what an asshole. It's like somebody got fired. It's like, yeah, well, you should get fired because you're an asshole. Well, it's like no one wants. So
ignorant people are too ignorant to recognize their ignorance.
Right.
That's what I think.
You're never going to get rid of ignorance. Everyone's going to have an opinion about something. And that's also where it gets clouded, too, is because everyone has an opinion on something.
Right.
Whether they are racist, whether they are homophobic, whether they're transphobic, that's their opinion. And those decisions that they make are dictating their career. You know, it's like, well, you have an opinion on something that we no longer want to accept.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, you know, we obviously know what's wrong. I mean, we've advanced as a society, and those things are old news. But should it dictate, you know, something that somebody did a decade ago, is that really going to determine whether they should still hold employment? That's what I question.
Yeah, I mean, at 48 years old, he was 48 when he said those things, right? 48 is a pretty good age to figure out what if you're changing or not. I mean, that man is a fraud. Like, at 48 years old, yeah, you should be held accountable for those things, because at 48 years old, you were old enough to understand what you were saying and why you were saying it. I mean, at 48, you're holding an ESPN announcement position. Like, if we guys can hold a Discussion Combustion podcast, and this guy's on ESPN doing analysis for ESPN, and he's doing, like, quarterback rooms for all the rookie quarterbacks, all sorts of stuff, right? Like, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. He's knowledgeable enough to understand why he was wrong. And I mean, you can't just write those emails and think that that's right or wrong. Like, or not think that it's right or wrong. He knew it was not the nicest thing, but then he's like, oh, you know, I didn't expect anyone to see it. That's why I said it. You know, that's exactly why he wrote him, because he's like, I don't want anyone else to think I would see him. If everyone knew what I was saying, everyone would hate me.
Yeah,
You know?
it's hard to live like that, though, man.
It's called integrity.
Yeah.
Where's his integrity?
So he kind of cooked his own goose, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I like goose, but I don't like to cook it. I haven't cooked a goose before, to be honest.
I don't think I have either, but I know it's greasy from what I've heard.
Oh.
I've had goose, but I never cooked it.
Have any of you out there had greasy goose?
That
Message yes or no to combustion. Discussion combustion.
Combustion
discussion.
Blow it on the blower.
Give me that greasy goose.
No, that's all a lot of real stuff, man.
Yeah, no, it is, and we live in a time where, you know, you really do got to mind your P's and Q's. I mean, anything that we've said in the last 122 episodes, Logan, could completely derail our careers 10 years from now.
Right.
And that's what's also concerning, is because, you know, you try to be honest and real and put things out there, and you know, that's what we love what we do. But it's like, is this going to backfire on us at some point? That's what I worry about. I try to be honest and real, you know, and respect everybody and give honest opinions, but it could fuck me over at some point.
Well, here's the thing: what you do in your office is completely different what you do outside of the office. So if you're doing your job well inside the office, and I know Arthur and I are doing well inside the office, we don't have many issues. We take care of our business. We're respectful. We handle our jobs day in and day out. Outside of the office, I don't think that has anything to do with any of that. Now, if you are acting absolutely obnoxious and being a problem outside the office, getting arrested, or doing things like storming the Capitol, you know, like maybe there's a problem here. But if not, I mean, you know, that whole Capitol storming thing, like all those people, they're probably losing their jobs. They're all getting in jail, like they're getting hit with federal offenses. But I mean, that's the type of stuff that's saying, like, this, I don't think you have to worry about. I think this is a healthy way of expressing yourself. It is who you guys are, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think this is a great platform to do that, because it is expressing yourself in a healthy way. It's not hurting anybody. You're not inciting violence. You're not doing anything. You're just having a discussion combustion. Yeah. And when you're discussing things properly and you're listening and open to new ideas and being mindful of others and feelings, I think that there is always room for that in this society. I think podcasts have been a great part of us growing as a culture. Now, I don't think... I don't want people putting fists up and lighting torches outside your discussion combustion. You know, I don't want you guys saying anything that's going to...
Yeah, we're not going crazy like that in here.
Yeah, I don't want you guys saying
no
anything
tiki
stupid.
torch motherfuckers outside.
Yeah.
All right, you can keep that in the backyard as a mosquito repellent.
Right. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. But just, you know, just play it. Don't worry too much about what's going to happen in the future, but also make sure you're not saying anything that's going to affect you in the future. If you think that what you're saying is wrong, then it's probably wrong. And I think that's one of the biggest things a lot of people don't realize.
But what if like you feel like it's right, but you know that it is socially non-accepted to say something that you...
If you're feeling if you feel in your heart that it's wrong, or if you're feeling that what I'm about to say is wrong, but it's what I feel is right, there's probably a good chance that you shouldn't say it, and just keep it to yourself. Like, because, you know, it's just like, words can hurt, and words can incite things that, you know, a lot of, like I said, like the Capitol, like the words a lot of people said incited a riot.
Yeah.
And now what I will say is that, you know, if you feel like it's wrong to say, but you feel right about it, maybe there's another platform for you. It might not be this one that you feel like that might be a better platform for me to say it on. And, just think before you talk. You don't always have to talk all so fast right away. So just say whatever you want.
I guess what I want to say after I thought about what I was going to say, you mentioned earlier that we have to take things.
I want you to look at him while you talk to me. I want you to think about him while he talks to me.
Take things less personally. That we need to take things less personally.
I would agree with that.
As individuals, as a society. So that's one thing that I feel like I want to talk about in a little more detail is people taking things personally. Because there's always an opposite opinion. There's always going to be an opposite opinion in the world, and that's not my opinion or your opinion. And so, like, that's a fact of reality. So I feel like for people to take other people's opinions, like if somebody has an opinion, but they're not physically hurting you or harassing you daily or like doing anything to hurt you as an individual, they strictly think differently than you, then that should not be subject to any sort of persecution or any sort of elevation, right? Difference in opinions should not create but at the same time, there are opinions that I feel like are right and just and are selfless or selfish.
And that's your opinion.
And within that, so it's like it's a fine line that we have to walk. But that's why I'm going to end it with where I started, was like we have to take things less personally. Like who cares what the external is doing? Like once you got your mind right and you started getting your shit straight and you started to get your hustle on, you're like, man, I enjoy that. I'm going to do that. Like, you stop caring about what other people think.
Right. And so I read a book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and one of the big agreements in that is don't take things personally. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is that when you're subjecting yourself to other people's opinions and violence, you're really not setting yourself free from anything. The only thing you're doing is the same thing you've been doing ever since you were a little kid, in those belief systems where someone says, like, for instance, I got this, give to me an example. Let's say some little girl's singing and she's got a great voice, and her mom comes in when she's a little kid and says, quiet down, I'm on the phone. I can't hear anything. That little girl thinks she's not good enough anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's her mom's opinion, and that's what she thought her mom's opinion was, and so she felt like she wasn't good anymore. And doesn't mean it was right or wrong, but that was how she was molded. Now let's say that if you're listening to other people's opinions still, as we get older, you're like, let's say your hair doesn't look good or that beard's stupid. That opinion, if that affects you, I'm sorry. But it shouldn't, because, you're like, I like my beard. I don't understand. He's like, if I like it, that's all that should matter.
Can you grow a beard?
Yeah, I can. I just don't do it.
I can see that stubble kind of.
I like to keep like that morning gruff going, because it's it's like subtle sexy, but it's not too sexy.
It's sexy.
And I don't want to go too sexy because I'm married now, because it's like I don't want to have like the mosquito repellent, like you said. Like, I don't want to have to spray women in the face. But listen, I got a wife now. I can't have you talking to me like that.
They can sense it. That they want what they can't have.
Yeah, and true. Now it's like I got this cool ring on my finger, and
it makes them want you even more.
Yeah, I mean, and my wife's pretty sexy, so it's like it's cool to have a sexy wife, and I feel sexy sometimes. But if I go,
but not as sexy as your wife.
No, not as sexy as mine. but if I do have when I don't feel sexy is when when it's late at night and I order Go Puff. It's like I order
gas station to your door.
I order a box of Fruit Loops at 9:00 at night. And it's like, what the fuck was I thinking? That is not sexy. And so that's when I start realizing it's like that's my non-sexy moments, is when I order Go Puff. Or I want 20 Tostito rolls right now.
Oh my gosh.
We all been there, man.
Yeah,
I do all the time.
Right, and so now, but you're sexy. You don't have anything to worry about. Like, I have to worry about it, because as soon as I lose my appeal and I'm married, it's like, shoot, the less sexy I am, is she gonna want me to do other things now because I'm not sexy enough? Like, fuck. It's like, what am I supposed to do? It's just such a tough combo. Like, getting married, you have a lot to think about. And I know now I'm not supposed to take anything personally, as we said, but man, oh man, the things I tell myself after eating that stuff is like, you're not supposed to eat that last handful of Fruit Loops, but you already had 7 of them already, so it's okay.
Get that 8th one in there.
Yeah, get that 8th one in there and go from there.
I've been overindulging, as everyone can tell.
We're all guilty of it, man.
I mean,
overindulging in what?
So I would say,
why don't you open up about that?
Alcohol is one of the new ones. We've
been doing booze for the whole podcast.
That's true. So I now realize that that's something I need to get on check.
Me too. We
And then
usually do
also
sober October.
it's the snacking, like the chips at night. Like, you know, I need to stop eating at like 7 or 8 p.m.
Well, that's just
And
that's
then-
fair.
Yeah. So like I know I'm overweight, like, you know, and I know I can feel better, like. And that's the thing. Like I'm not harping on myself over it. Like I'm not depressed about that. I'm actually a pretty happy person. But it's good to always have something that you're working on for yourself. Like something that you kind of keep bringing to the forefront. Where it's like, you know, I want to do this strictly for me because it's gonna make me happy.
I'm going to go take a piss to make me happy right now.
Yeah, you go ahead and whiz it.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
2021.
No, God, dude. I know, man. The inception of all this. I mean, so all the germaphobes out there, I'm happy I wasn't a germaphobe before COVID hit because it would be really bad now. And
It reminds me of the movie Along Came Polly. Remember, he's a risk assessment analysis guy, and he goes and he was telling Polly, "Don't put your fingers or hands in the nuts that they hang out of the tables for people, because everyone's hands were in there."
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And she was
he was right.
Yeah.
he was like, honestly speaking, it's like, yeah, we didn't really live too charismatic of like trying to stay healthy and keep people safe. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where it's like, I get it. Like, not everyone was as healthy back in. I mean, we're more knowledgeable, but I think the biggest thing about when you know that you're maybe not eating healthy is telling yourself you're not eating healthy. And I think that's a good first step, because sometimes people get so addicted to being unhealthy, they don't know if they're being unhealthy. They're just doing them at that time.
That's true. That they're like just in the current and just going down the river wherever the river takes them.
Yeah, they're just weird.
Yeah.
It just gets weird. You know, it's like, and then they're bathing in their own filth. Like, they haven't showered for 3 days, and they're missing. They're like, I wonder where that piece of chicken went, and it's under their like right tit.
Oh my gosh! And
You
then
know.
the sores that appear from that.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No. But so for me, man, I've been like 10, 11 months off opiates. Like, I'm done. I don't want to go back. Like, I don't even care about it anymore.
Opiates don't want you to go back either.
And I don't want them either. And but it's crazy because, you know, you go through this change period where you're like really trying to change what your focus is, and then you start, you know, because you're critiquing yourself to be better, like you want to accomplish something big.
Right.
But then you start seeing all the other things that you start becoming critical, and then you could see all the other things. So I'm like in that point in time in my life where, you know, I've made some big changes that I'm proud of myself for, and I feel accomplished, but I know I got to keep moving, and there's more to do. Like I like to say, there's more to be had out there. You know.
You gotta go get your piece of the pie.
Yeah.
You gotta go get your goat.
Of the happy pie, though. Like, of the happy pie, because money is a tool to me, and it's an important tool.
Money is a tool. Money doesn't create happiness, but it fucking helps.
It does.
And I really, it's sad that as a culture, that's what we have to use as tools. Like, back in the day, I mean, motherfuckers were making like wheels out of like stone and shit. You know, we saw Fred Flintstone. We know how this shit goes. But here we are. We got to use money as tools. But even then, the movie we saw with Fred Flintstone, he had to have money though to get that next job up. But he was stupid as shit. So his buddy Barney Rubble gave him the money to help him raise his family. I'm like, you know, that sucks. You know, but it's just like it's still that.
Sound like GM at all?
What?
GM?
General Motors.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well,
Oh,
yeah, because they all got bankrupt and had to get.
Yeah, they got bailed out how many times?
Yeah, it's bullshit. Like, why in the fuck are we bailing out billion-dollar companies? Like, let that motherfucker sink.
That's right, baby.
That's how I feel. That's not a free
Yeah,
market.
I mean, but also the people and jobs that for families that it supported and stuff. I mean, there's people in rural areas where they don't have the same opportunities, and GM probably provided opportunities that they needed to help. So, I mean, yeah, you might say let that motherfucker sink, but, you know, they're also looking at people's jobs who've been working there for 20 years where they would like to keep that job because that's what they know, and outside of that, it'd be very difficult for them to get another job. So saying let that motherfucker sink might not always be the best way to handle that motherfucker.
What if... Oh, no, you could go.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you know, free market capitalism is a cream rises to the top, right? Either you make it or you don't. Chevrolet had to be bailed out how many times? You know, Ford Motor Company didn't do it. Ford's still standing strong.
No, always buy a Ford. I have Fords my whole life.
Are you a Ford guy?
I'm a Ford guy.
Yes, give me some.
And because I'm built tough, I know that. And and it's an American-made company, and I like to support that. But I'll tell you, I got a Ford Escape, and I hasn't broke down on me once. I've had a Ford before that. I like. If you watch Ford versus Ferrari,
such a great movie.
I really love that movie, and I just love Ford from day one.
Kevin's breaking it out.
Oh, what does that say?
Ford.
Oh, are you sure?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well.
Got that old school hit.
No,
He's got a Ford.
It's a truck.
What do you
It's an
drive,
old school
Arthur?
Truck.
You drive a Ford?
Well, a Mercury Mountaineer.
Which is a Ford
It's
motor.
a Ford motor.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you can't get behind Ford now, then I don't suggest you hop on board, but you should be on board since you were a baby. And that's one of those belief systems that I will say should have stuck with everyone growing up. That Ford versus Ferrari got my
Such a
juices
great
flowing.
movie.
I was like, holy shit.
Oh,
Those
it's a
things
good
were
movie.
so fucking fast. And I was like looking at that poor guy, he waited for all those three losers. And that's one of those things I will say. Don't wait for people to catch up to you. Just do you. Bullshit. Like, he should never have waited for those people. And he knew in his heart it was wrong. He knew it was wrong, and he still fucking waited. And they took all the credit away from him. Never wait for someone to give you your win. You go ahead and do it. You don't have to. You go ahead and you get yours, buddy. If you
Absolutely.
want to fucking win, then go fucking win. If you're that far ahead of somebody, that means that you deserve to win. And if you get kicked out of that, whatever, because you had to wait, so be it. But other people will come and pick you up because you drive that good.
He got fucked on that whole
He
deal.
got fucked.
Bad.
And I'm telling you this, do not wait for other people for you. If they can't catch up to you and they're not on your same wavelength, they're not going to be. And you shouldn't wait for somebody. Now, let's say we're in the Army, like you're only as good as your. That's
Yeah.
different. That's different. But we're talking about in life with like. I'm not saying to throw anyone on the bus. Don't hurt anybody along the way. But if you're winning and you're doing something, you're about to win something, God damn it, win.
Keep pushing.
Just keep pushing.
Yeah.
No, don't put yourself in second place because you feel bad for beating them again. That person's just not. They can't beat you. Sorry. That's a life lesson. I mean, there's always going to be a bigger fish out there. Like same thing with music. I know that I'm not great. I'm not the best. I know there's many people who have way more experience than me, but I love it, and I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to bust my ass to be one of the best. Am I going to be? I don't know. But I'm going to do my hardest, but I'm not going to lose.
You got to
Right.
make that decision right now, Logan. Are you going to be? Yes.
That's why I just
you're
said
gonna
that. I
be.
said I'm going to try my best.
No, but
and that's all you can
you're
do.
going to be, man. Like,
But I'm not in last place anymore.
that's true.
And I was in. If you're not doing anything about it, you're in dead last place, and you're not going to do anything about it. You're going to keep your ass in the. You're going to put your dick in the dirt for as long as you live. If you keep trying to say, "Oh, I wish I would have done that earlier," do it now.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
it now. Stop
That's so
waiting.
true.
If you want to do something, do it fucking now. Don't wait for somebody to hold you back. Don't wait for anyone to tell you, "Oh, why don't you wait for a better moment in time?" The best moment is now. Do
Yeah,
it always
right
right away.
fucking now.
Don't
So
fucking
good.
wait for anyone. Don't like that guy. He waited for all those people, and look
Yep.
where it got him.
And that was a team order too. It was like, hey man, we want to see everyone cross the finish line together. Can you just slow up?
Yeah, that's
it's like, no,
bullshit.
go get your own shit, man. Go make a name for yourself. Team efforts are
They
great.
picked him to fucking win that race, and goddamn it, he
earned it.
The people were 3 laps behind him.
Yeah.
What a bunch of
He
losers.
earned the win, and he still played the team orders and was like, I'll slow up so I can do this shit, and he got fucked in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the moral of the story is go get it.
Go
You're-
get
If
it.
you're out there,
Go
don't
get
take your
it.
foot off the gas. That's the moral of the story. Fucking keep hammering it.
Don't let anyone tell you differently.
That's right.
Like I know the company we work at. I'll be honest with you. They went after it and they went to go get it, and they're doing great at it. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the people I work with. My wife, her mom, she was in Mary Kay for a long time, and she was top 3 in the whole world before she passed from
Wow.
cancer a long time ago. But she went after it and she fucking got it.
Wow.
It's just one of those things where if you want it, you go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't let it. Everyone who's listening right now, don't wait for anybody to tell you that you should wait or you should do anything differently. You go and fucking get yours.
Yeah.
And don't let anything hold you back. If you feel like something's holding you back from doing something that you want to do and that you love to do, then I'm sorry. Then maybe that person, you shouldn't be around him anymore.
For sure.
Solid advice.
Make yourself uncomfortable. Like, let's do something out of the fucking norm this week. That's going to be the believe and achieve. Believe and achieve this week, doing something different, breaking your normal stride of comfortability and doing something that you know is going to make you happy in the big picture. And then I want you to achieve continuing to doing that at least every other day this week.
And we're not talking about
let's
shaving
believe
your
and
cat
achieve it.
because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But,
Shave your cat?
Yeah, don't do weird things. Like if you want to do something because your cat's annoying you and that makes you feel good, we're not telling you to do weird shit. We're telling you to do things that make a difference in your life. Not like, oh, my cat's pissing me off. This makes me feel good, so I'm going to shave that motherfucker. Like, don't do that. Like, do something normal.
That's a very oddly specific example.
Well, I just was thinking about weird people out there and like what they might be thinking. Like, I'm going to
Shaving
shower
a
with my
cat.
clothes on. I'm going to break my streak this week.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
no,
well,
just
don't do that either.
Just do so. Okay, fine, Logan. Damn it. So believe in doing something that you've been pushing off this week.
Yeah.
Let's do something that you've been pushing off,
Yeah.
that you know you've been meaning to do, that you know would only take 30 minutes of your time to do, but you haven't done it. Let's believe and achieve getting that done.
Right. And if that means that your clothes have been sitting down in your laundry basket all week and you haven't folded them, fold your fucking clothes.
Yes.
If your girlfriend's coming over and she keeps complaining that your house is always dirty, clean your fucking house. And even if you don't want to and it makes you feel uncomfortable to clean your house, clean your house. You probably live like a rat. Don't do that.
You'll be feeling a lot better once your house is
You'll be feeling
clean.
a lot better doing stuff like that. Or another one, take your dog for a walk. If you have a dog and your dog's sitting at home getting fat and you're just getting lazy with them, take your dog for a walk. Dogs aren't supposed to be fat. I have to take my dog for walks all the time now, and he likes it. And
it's good for you.
And I don't. Yeah, it's good for me. I didn't love taking. I had a hard time leaving my office upstairs. I have my music. I got my work stuff, and it's just like when my dog comes and asks me to take a shit, I'm like, God damn it, have you talked to mom? Like, it's like and it's like he can't talk to anything, but he always comes to me. He's like, will you please just take me? He's like, I want to go for a walk. It's like, cool. Like, I gotta get out of my comfort zone and get uncomfortable. Take you for a walk. Put on my jacket. Put on my shoes. Make sure I got my insoles in my shoes because my feet hurt nowadays. That's just a physical thing as you get older. Kids, you'll know about that.
The pads literally wear out.
Yeah. So, things break your comfort zone, like Arthur said. And don't forget that on Discussion Combustion, we break habits to make new ones.
Fuck yeah.
Love it. That answered all the questions we usually ask. We didn't even have to ask them.
Yeah,
That's a big fuck yeah from Arthur Raw here.
Logan's intuition was flowing right there.
It was good. No, it's a solid way to wrap it up, man. I mean, it sounds cliche to a lot of people, like getting out of your comfort zone, try something you're not used to doing, but fucking do it. We've gotten so complacent. There's so many reasons to why to be complacent. Put down the DoorDash. Just put down the DoorDash and go fucking pick it up yourself. Make that something that you do different this week.
Try to make some new food at home.
Cook at the house.
I tried to make some food the other day. It didn't taste good, but I tried, and that was different. So what I do, I went and ordered DoorDash anyway.
But you still made that effort.
But I still tried.
That's the thing.
And that was the thing. I tried my best, and that's why I didn't care as much as throwing it out. But, it's fine. That's how we move forward.
Okay, so what I'm seeing, if I'm reading between the lines, let's enjoy the experience a little bit more in life.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy, like, fucking up a little bit. Let's enjoy succeeding more.
Have a laugh at yourself.
Yeah, like, don't take yourself so seriously.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the end of the world either, but we can change the world by trying something different. We can change our own worlds, our own perceptions of the world by changing things in our own habits to make new ones and do something better for ourselves.
So true, man.
Change your world, people. Change your fucking world. I changed mine. Arthur changed his. Kevin changed his. And the only way you can
Everybody
do that...
can do it.
Yeah, the only way you can do it is just making the choice.
Yeah, and start small. If it seems overwhelming for you, like, well, I don't want to do that. Start small. Like you said, fold the clothes in your laundry basket. Start there.
Fold them.
Fold them, motherfuckers.
If you need new underwear, god damn it, go get some new underwear.
Yeah, if that shit got holes in it, if you got
permanent skid marks, get rid of them.
If you got socks from 5 years ago that you used to wear all the time,
No holy socks.
But you think they're lucky? They're not lucky. There's the luck that is in those socks were coming from your feet. Your feet made the luck, not the socks.
minimalize.
It came from your feet.
Minimalize. It came from within.
Came within, man. The socks don't do shit.
You don't need your fucking rainbow Garfield socks to make you feel warm and furry. Just, you can make yourself feel warm and furry. doing things.
I bet Michael Jordan can dunk on me with or without pants on. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
Just
I would prefer if he had pants on.
One would be a little bit more intimidating than the other.
Man.
Very
Could you
true.
imagine just getting dunked on by some naked dude?
Oh, that'd be alarming.
Yeah.
Just seeing those two nuts fly right over your head.
It's just like getting. I mean, I'm not the tallest guy, so they would be definitely on my head. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Just whacking right in the forehead with them nuts.
Shazoo!
Oh man. Well, Logan, fuck man, it was. I mean, you dropped so much good information.
What a great app.
You know, talking about music growth, development, about mental growth and development.
right.
And we had some fun in between. So we're super excited here for your new venture and getting signed with the company across the pond. That's a lot of strength and energy, man. So,
Yep.
you know, fucking
Appreciate
put
it.
out that sail, catch the wind, and you know we're going to have you back, brother, to see how you progressed in the last 6 months. We'll get you
do it.
back in another 6 months or something.
On Discussion Combustion.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Let's do it. I love
Absolutely.
it. I have a great time. I really appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks for being here, man, and thanks for bringing some Christmas beers.
Yeah,
we'll be
those are
sure
strong.
to include all of your information in the show notes down below, guys. You know where to find it. We're going to add, once your EP drops, we'll go back and add those to the show notes. So if you're watching this tomorrow,
Yes. Circle back. When's it drop?
It's dropping next Friday.
what date? What's the exact date, Logan?
It's the 22nd, I believe.
Okay.
So
Friday the
October
22nd.
22nd. I really look forward to doing it. And like I said, even if you guys don't like the music, just support me. I love it. I hope everyone will as well. But everyone has different preferences on what they like or don't like, and that's okay too. But you know, the support is what matters the most to me, and I really appreciate all your support.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, man.
You got it from us, man. And everybody out there, like we talked about, let's just do something. You know, it's so important to be selfless in our lives, but we have to be selfish to a certain extent. Take some moment to focus on your needs. Maybe you've been thinking about other people so much, or other things have been going on, and you've lost yourself and train of thought. So let's all just dial it back a little bit this week. Think about ourselves, what's important to us, and let's make the hard decisions, maybe painful decisions, to be able to make the right decision that is the right one for you.
Maybe your best girlfriend Jenny slept with your husband or something, and Jenny's still your friend, and your husband's still your husband. Maybe you should get rid of them.
Yeah, make those hard decisions,
That's
man.
a hard decision.
That's a real life scenario. That's probably playing out.
Jenny gotta go.
Yeah,
Jenny gotta go.
Jenny's got to go, and Mark, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, Mark, you gotta find a new one.
Those guys got to go.
Yeah, you got to analyze and evaluate what's going on in your life.
That's right.
You know, but man, find them small victories. You know, do something that makes you happy. And I love just the simple advice of folding your clothes, man, because that goes a long way. That's just something so simple that everybody puts on the back burner that can change the day.
And it actually goes on your back too, if it's a shirt.
Put it
It'll
on
be
there.
folded.
Get them dirty
your
clothes off
shirt
there.
on.
That
Put your
wing
shirt on,
sauce
guys.
fucking stained wife beater out of here. Fucking do your dishes. Tighten up, people. Now's the time. We've gotten very complacent.
Yeah, tighten up, and Discussion Combustion will live on.
Hell yeah, brother. Logan, great to meet you, man. Thanks for bringing the Christmas beers.
Fuck yeah.
Let's do it again.
Appreciate it. We'll be back soon.
We're going to
Just
chat
let me know
soon.
when.
All right,
Yeah,
man.
you're going to be back in here. Everybody keep crushing the week. Create some goals if you don't got any yet. What the fuck you doing? Let's keep it rolling. Be good to yourself.
You deserve it.
Peace. Thanks, guys.